My name is Ananya Nair and I'm a member of Legal Education Awareness Foundation. LEAF is a registered NGO that aims to bring legal awareness to students, people and members of all society. Today, we have Ms. Anuradha Krishnan with us.
First of all, thanks for this invitation. I'm very pleasure to talk with you people. Of course, I'm a transgender person. Myself, Anuradha Krishnan, my pronoun is they. I'm currently pursuing my graduation in dentistry. I'm coming from Trivandrum, Kerala.
Ma'am is also the founder of Queer Rhythm.
Queer Rhythm is an LGBTIQ organization. It's a community-based organization working in Kerala since 2017. And I am one of the founders of Queer Rhythm. Of course, as you know, what LGBTIQ organizations are doing, the same thing in Kerala also, Queer Rhythm is doing a lot of efforts to put forward the rights of LGBT community in Kerala. We are working in the grassroots level for providing sensitization, for building the career of queer person, everything which is possible to us. Pride Month, for a queer person, every month is Pride Month. For our society or internationally, June is celebrating as Pride Month in remembrance to Stonewall riot. So LGBT community is conducting a lot of sensitization programs and mainstreaming of LGBT society. So as part of it, Queer Rhythm also conducting a lot of sessions. Due to COVID, everything is happening in online. So I'm also part of all that initiatives, and personally, I'm embracing myself, realization, acceptance, embracing my identity more loudly and proudly. That's happening in India. The acceptance of LGBT community is still a question mark actually, because only in 2018 we decriminalized IPC 377. So we had centuries of oppression and stigma related to LGBT people. So still people are struggling due to that stigma and discriminations which have imposed for the past centuries. So it's very difficult as a queer person to live in a country like India. But culturally, there were acceptance for queer people in India in past time, before the ruling of British government and all, before implementation of Victorian colonial laws, there were acceptance to even transgender people or other sexual and gender diversities. So, but when the ruling came for a few centuries, their morality, their Victorian morality become the habit of Indians also. So they implemented a lot of laws against queer people, like Hijda Criminal Tribes Act, IPC 377, etc. It's created an image that queer people are criminals. Being a transgender is criminal, or being a homosexual is criminal offense. And in our locality, even in our village itself, there is very grassroots level or very strong belief that we are shameful thing to a family. If a transgender child is there, it's about something related to their honor. It will hurt their honor. So our society need more cultural acceptance for transgender people. I think there were cultural acceptance in other states like Hijra, Shivashakti, Jogappa, like cultural identities existed for last few centuries, but in that space, people are trying to give some supernatural recognitions, not as human beings. They are considering as people who have the ability to bless or curse someone. They have the power to bless someone like this. And but at the same time, they are forced to do begging and sex work also. So it's a contradictory situations. Some people are praising, some people are discriminating. So we need basic human rights actually. We are the humans of this country. We are the citizens of this country. Our constitution providing all the rights which are applicable to other citizens are also applicable to transgender people. There is no special mention for male or female in constitution, just mentioning for the citizens of India. So we are also the citizen of India, and transgender is now officially a gender in India. So we need all the constitutional rights and what to say, we need a life as a human being in this society. So we, the people, me, you, and everyone should responsible and should have the duty to make the life of diverse people, unprivileged people become more easier or more comfortable in our society. So we should do more things to achieve that aim. Transgender Persons Protection Act actually, it's very much diluted in its sense actually, because it's not effective to address the issues of a community which are socially isolated and oppressed for last centuries actually. So we need more powerful legislation for the upliftment of transgender people in India, because we cannot, it's not an easy task actually. It needs a strong legislation as well as very strong social awareness also. But the present legislation is very weak and it failed to address most relevant topics or most relevant issues of transgender people in India. So we need more powerful law. I can give some example like in 2014, the NALSA judgment came regarding transgender rights. In that clearly mentioned, gender identity of a person is their self-declaration. No one can authorize it other than that person, even a medical doctor or anyone else don't have the right to tell one person is transgender or not. So we don't have the right to judge someone. Like there is no need of in case of male and female, there is no need of such certifications or such screening process or anything. So that's a cisgender privilege. But when it comes to transgender people, we are forced to get approved by the district magistrate. How a district magistrate can approve one's gender identity? How he is going to evaluate it? It's a big question. So it's a complete violation of 2014 NALSA judgment actually, and it failed in addressing a lot of issues, even the basic discrimination. There is no correct definition for discrimination faced by transgender people. So discrimination is different to each group of people. The discrimination faced by females are much different than discrimination suffering by transgender people, discrimination suffering by other unprivileged categories. So we should address it or we should define it properly. The legislation failed to address it properly actually. They are just saying like we should stop discrimination against transgender people only. They are failed to talk about what is discrimination, what all fields transgender people are discriminated. See, even from the immediate family itself, we are discriminated. In other unprivileged people, there are a lot of unprivileged categories in our society. They at least have acceptance in their own family or in their own relatives. See, but in transgender people, we are lacking such acceptance. Our parents itself abandoning us, rejecting us. So we are forced to leave from our family itself. So it's a very basic human right violation. So our present legislation is failed to address all these things, and they are silent about reservation and all. Actually, reservation is a constitutional right for a unprivileged group to get equal representation. But our government is hesitating to give proper representation for transgender people in every sector, in government sector, or when it comes to education, job, politics, everywhere we are facing that much discrimination. But if there is a reservation policy, the government or the bodies are forced to incorporate transgender people in that area. We can say like in Kerala, there is 50% reservation for women in local self-governing bodies. It's like a great effort or great step which the government took forward. So it could ensure the equal participation or equal representation of women in politics. Like that, we the transgender people also need representation, equal representation. It's our constitutional right. In many areas, the present legislation failed to address the issues of transgender people in a proper way. So we need to upgrade the legislation, or we need to amend the legislation in accordance to the needs of transgender people. So the government should hear the voice of transgender people and should take appropriate measure to change it actually. I think so. I don't think we can hide gender identity as sexual orientation. I think because gender is a way of expression also. We can express it in our own way, but we cannot stay oppressed, or we cannot hide it for a long time actually. For a transgender person, they are differ in their gender identity according to their assigned sex actually. That's why they are transgender people. So whether we disclose it or not, the surroundings or the people who living with us can easily identify with the people, or they start judging on us. Like I'm a feminine boy in my childhood, but it never means femininity in every male body is transgender or is a transgender person. Femininity can be a gender expression. It's a normal gender expression in a male body. It's completely depends on our understanding about our gender. Only I can tell to you that I'm transgender or male or female, any other gender. So nobody can tell, as I earlier said, as per Nalsa judgment, it was a clear judgment that no need of any medical transition, no need of any hormone therapy. Your biology is not at all a matter. You can declare what's your gender. If it is male, female, or transgender, or any gender. But as a oppressed group, we need some legal validation, or we need some official documentation of our gender for claiming our rights and privileges. So it's a basic human right to get proper legal recognition of our identity in government or any sector. And we should be more focused or careful in how we are going to give that certificate, or how we are going to validate the gender identity of a person. Of course, it's the no. Of course, it's a no that any psychiatrist or psychologist can confer anyone's gender identity. Sometimes psychiatrists or psychologists can help if a person who are suffering a severe gender dysphoria, they can help that person to confirm their he's suffering, or they suffering from gender dysphoria, and they can treat gender dysphoria. Never get mistaken, gender dysphoria is a mental state of transgender or non-binary person in which there is an incongruence between the biological sex and gender identity of a person. So we have proper treatment protocol for such mental situation, like hormone therapy, sex reassignment surgery, counseling sections, and cosmetic surgeries and treatment. Have the proper medical protocol internationally, but in India, the psychiatrists and psychologists considering being transgender itself a disorder or it's a pathology, they are trying to treat the gender identity. It's a completely unethical, or it's a medical negligence. As I said, today I went to the police station for reporting such a case actually. In a magazine, a famous doctor from Kerala wrote an article about the transgender person, about gender identity disorder. He was telling like gender identity disorder is happening in person who have nutrition deficiency, who are undergone rape in childhood, and a lot of blah blah foolishness he tried to convey that. So as a responsible person, or as when a doctor telling something, there is more acceptance in our country, in our society, because people are believing the words of doctors. So it's a big misconception he will try to convey through that article. So I was just filed a case against him for such representations, because psychiatry and mental health profession already depathologized all these things. Even before 1973 itself, in ICD, DSM, other psychiatry, even Indian Psychiatric Society itself told that gender identity or sexual orientation are not at all a disease or mental disorder. It's a natural variant in a human being. We cannot treat it. The person which I mentioned, we're telling like we can change gender identity disorder through hormone therapy, testosterone therapy, and all. So it's a truth that the medical professionals, especially mental health professionals in India, are not at all aware about LGBTIQ health. But internationally, the other countries like USA, Europe, they were more progressive in LGBTIQ health, and it's a human right violation that treating LGBT people in improper way actually in such countries. So even in our medical curriculum is also not updated according to the international standards. They are still teaching homosexuality and transgender people as sexual offenses, unnatural sexual offenses, psychosexual disorders, and even gender identity disorder. So the recent ICD-11 is abolished the term gender identity disorder itself. There is no such classification, but we the Indian doctors or Indian psychiatric professionals are not at all aware about it. They are still following the century back Freudian theory and all. So they should upgrade their knowledge. They are not supposed to neglect any queer person related to their gender identity or sexual orientation. They should give proper treatment for every person. It's a responsibility of a doctor. We need some more humanitarian considerations to the oppressed communities in our society. Any group of people who are oppressed should get proper recognition and proper legal rights. They should get privileges to overcome that oppression in our society. Even it's for transgender, female issues, disability issues, everything. So we should be careful even in our language itself. The language which we are using in our day-to-day life itself have a lot of things to do for more inclusion in our society. Mostly our jokes are highly transphobic, highly homophobic, ableistic. So we should be more conscious even in our conversation itself. We cannot discriminate people on any background. It's against our constitutional rights, right to equality, right to dignity. So we all are person who living with great dignity actually. We all have a dignified life. But when I try to tell that I am a transgender person to the society or even to my family, their imagination is like I'm a sex worker or I'm a beggar. I never tell that being a sex worker or begging is not a sin, or it's not a wrong thing. Of course, it should have a proper recognition in our society, even for sex work itself. But generalizing a population to such stigmatized category, it's a double oppression or double marginalization. So we should recognize the gender identity of a person, even a transgender person, regardless of their class, caste, their profession, language, everything. We have a trend like a transgender person from some high profession, like a high celebrity status, they have acceptance. And the society is ready to accept such transgender person, but they're neglecting the identity of a transgender person who are who belongs to sex work or who belongs to begging and all. It's not a proper way. Whatever the profession, whatever be the caste, religion, anything, gender identity is a basic identity of the person. So we cannot say we never accept a transgender sex worker, but we are ready to accept a transgender film actor or transgender doctor. It's not a proper way of acceptance in our society. So we should be more inclusive. We should consider the intersectionalities in within the transgender community, and we should be a voice for the rights of the oppressed people in our society. It's a responsibility of every citizen of our country.
That's very, very true. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming and speaking to me today. I'm really very indebted to you. And I think more than bravery and having the ability to live your own truth, you're a beacon of inspiration and a haven of support. With people like you, there is hope for society. There is hope for life, and there is hope that the world will not come to an end. So I must thank you today for coming and giving me your time and for speaking to me. Thank you so much, ma'am.